So today what we're going to be making is Starbucks bagel bites. So just a couple things that you guys need for this baking recipe. So 1, you will need a cookie tray. 2, you will need a small bowl or a bigger bowl. It's okay what size, doesn't matter what size. Then you will need a fork. And then in terms of food ingredients, what you'll need is the croissants, the cream cheese. Now I have lactose-free cream cheese that I'm using, but it'll be the cream cheese that we provided you guys in the kits. And then finally what you'll need are the everything bagel mix that was in the little shaker containers that we used last week. So once we have all our ingredients ready, first thing I need you guys to do is to go and wash your hands. Once we're all done washing our hands, the first step we need to do is we need to preheat the oven. So the oven needs to be preheated to 350. So if you want to grab an adult or grab a parent or a guardian, anybody there that can help you do that, the oven needs to be set at 350. So I'll show you guys here. You're going to hit bake, and mine's already preset at 350, and then you're going to hit start. So while we're waiting for our oven to preheat, we can go ahead and start with our recipe and doing the prepping as much as we can before it needs to go into the oven. So to start, I'm gonna put my hair back so then that way I can make sure that none of my hair is getting in the food. So if you have hair and you wanna just tie it back, I would suggest doing that. So then that way when you guys are starting to do the recipe, you don't have any hair going into the recipe. So what we're gonna do is we have our baking tray out. We're gonna grab the croissants, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna open them up. So there is a little tab here on the side that you can just start to unroll. And then once it is unrolled, there's something that says press on the line. So what you wanna do is just press on that. And mine popped open, and then you can unravel all of your dough. And then when it's out, it's gonna look like this. One big tube of dough. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna set it on your parchment, on your baking tray. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna try to find where it unrolls. So mine started to unroll here. And it's kind of sticky. But what you'll do is you'll unroll it, and there's these triangles that are already all kind of labeled in it. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna take those lines and you're gonna remove them. So you're gonna use it almost like it was cut, and then there'll be little triangles here. So everyone can do that. And if it rips, that's okay, because I'll show you, if they rip, I'll show you how we can fix that. See, a couple of mine ripped, but that's okay, because the dough can go back together. So once you guys have them all out and they're in little triangles, what you're gonna wanna do is just kind of stack them up on one side of your tray. So then that way you can use the rest of your tray for when they're done and we put the cream cheese inside. So right now I'm just stacking them here. So then that way I don't need to waste another plate. If you wanna put them on another cookie tray, you can do that, but I don't wanna waste and cause any more dishes, so I'm just kind of stacking mine in the corner there. So now that that step's done, what I'm gonna focus on is the cream cheese part. So I have my brick of cream cheese and I have my bowl. So I'm gonna unwrap my cream cheese. And yours might look different depending on what cream cheese you guys are using, but this is the one that I'm using. Okay, so if your cream cheese is a little hard, so I'm feeling mine, my brick's a little hard. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my fork and I'm just gonna use it to break off some pieces of the cream cheese. So probably half of the brick, or depending on how much cream cheese you want, just kind of a small amount, because we can always make more or less. So my cream cheese is a little bit hard still, so I'm gonna put mine in the microwave for 10 seconds and see what that does. So now that I put it in the microwave for 10 seconds, I'm just gonna take my fork and I'm gonna try to mush it down. So mine's still a little bit hard. I don't know if you can see that. It's still pretty hard. So I'm gonna put mine in for a little bit more. So I'm gonna put mine in for 15 seconds now. So now that I've put it in the microwave for 15 seconds, I'm able to squish it down. And that's what I want it to be like. I want it to be able that I can push all that cream cheese down. So if you want, this is where you can add some things. So on the recipe, it has bacon bits. I'm not gonna add bacon bits to mine, but you guys can if you want. You don't have to add them to them, but you can. But like I said, I'm not going to be adding the bacon bits. So once your cream cheese is kind of soft, what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna bring your Pillsbury dough back. You're gonna want to take a triangle piece of dough, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna place some cream cheese inside it. So I'm gonna be placing not super a lot because you don't want it to go off the sides. So I'm just gonna start with a little bit like this. I'm not sure if you guys can see that there, that much. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm going to put it inside. So now I think that's too much, so I'm gonna kind of take some off, put it back in my bowl. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pinch it and I'm gonna wrap the dough around. And then I'm gonna fold it. And you can do this any way you want. Now I'm taking the excess of it and rolling it kind of this way to make like a little tater tot almost, like a little wrap. But you guys can wrap them any way you want. In the recipe, it has them as circles because they're square pieces. But because we're using the triangle dough, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the cream cheese at the wider edge here. And then I'm going to fold in to make like a little bit of a blanket for it, and then roll it over and just roll it down. There we go. Do that again. And you're just gonna keep repeating this for as many as you're making. Now, I just checked my oven and my oven is at 272. So depending on how fast your oven preheats, by the time you guys are done this, your oven should be ready. And if it's not, that's okay. You can just wait. But mine should be done by the time I'm done wrapping all these. And I'm just kind of placing them far apart. And you're just gonna repeat this process. And like I said, you can fold it any way you want as long as all the cream cheese is covered. You don't want any of the cream cheese, you don't want to be able to see any of the cream cheese from the sides. And they don't need to be perfect. And my last one. Okay, so I have them all spread out. Now to finish it off, now you don't have to add it if you don't want to. but I'm going to. So I have my everything bagel seasoning. And what you can do is you can just take it and just sprinkle a little bit on top. It's okay if a little bit gets on the cookie tray. What you want to do is just pat them in. Make sure they stay on. All right, so mine are ready and my oven beeped, so I know that it is at 350, so time to put these in. Okay, so you want to put these in the oven for 10 to 12 minutes. Now, typically a rule that I use when I'm baking is if it says 10 to 12 or 15 to 20, I usually put it in for the less time. So in this case, it's 10 to 12 minutes, so I'm putting it in for 10. And then I'm going to use those 2 minutes as like a buffer, just to really make sure I check on it to make sure it's cooked. So yeah. All right, so it's been 8 minutes. This is what they are looking like. All right, so they've been in the oven now for 11 minutes, and I'm gonna pull mine out because they're starting to get brown. So how you know they're cooked is they're gonna be brown on the top, and then when you flip them over, they're gonna be brown on the bottom as well. So mine are slightly brown on the top and brown on the bottom. Okay guys, so once I took my bagel bites out of the oven, I made sure that I took them out of the oven with oven mitts on. So you want to make sure that you're doing that with an adult because it's very hot. Then what you're going to want to do is let them cool. They don't take a whole lot of time to cool. So I'd probably give them 2 minutes to cool, and then you can put them on a plate to serve them. So here's all mine here. Now they're not exactly like the recipe, like they're not circular. Woo, I almost just spilled them all over. So they're not exactly circular like the recipe, but I still think they're pretty good because they're like little biscuits. So we're gonna open one up. So I'll show you here. We're gonna put the camera down a little bit. Okay, so we have our bagel bite. And when we go inside, see this steam? See this steam? Oh, my lighting's a little bit off here. And that's the inside. So again, it is 10 to 12 minutes. I put mine in, and you just want to watch them. Some ovens might cook hotter than others, so your timing might be different. But other than that, all right, so now I'm gonna enjoy my bagel bite. Really good. And you can use like herb and garlic cream cheese if you want next time. You could put even the seasoning inside the cream cheese. You could use bacon bits if you didn't. You could use pretty much whatever you kind of want inside. But yeah, really good. Last, what you just want to make sure is you turn your oven off. I hope you guys enjoy this.